Hello all, welcome along to another video. In this one, we're going to take a stab at using the Playwright MCP server within Chainlit, all just to automate our trading analysis. So essentially, if you trade Bitcoin, stocks, Forex, gold, bonds, whatever you trade, at the end of the day, you still need to be able to do some technical analysis and look at charts. So essentially what we're going to do in this video is we're going to get our agent within Chainlit to essentially go to livecharts.co.uk, take a screenshot of a particular pair, and give us some trading analysis. So all you need to do to follow along in this video is you at least need Cursor or any agentic IDE. You need an OpenAI API key and Python installed on your MacBook or your PC, whichever one you prefer. Nonetheless, there's no wasting any time, and let's get stuck in and get straight into the demo. Okay, folks, so what we're first going to do in this demo is we want to play with the Playwright's MCP within Cursor just to test that, that this MCP server can do what we need to do. So I've just pasted in the configuration for the Playwright MCP within Cursor, and then I'm going to select agent mode. And as you can see, I've got GPT 4.1 as my model. And right now, all I'm just basically asking it is to essentially navigate to livecharts.co.uk. So essentially, what livecharts is it's a mirror of TradingView, where you can view as many charts as you want without having a TradingView account. Obviously, you don't pay for it, but you don't get the features. So as you can see, I've switched to Claude 4 Sonnet. And yeah, right now we can see that it's trying to navigate. So it's using the browser navigate tool. And I don't have auto mode, YOLO mode on my cursor. I like being in control. So nonetheless, you can see Playwright has opened up Chrome over there. And it's saying that it's encountered an error. So the connection was aborted. And but then it still asked me to confirm that it could use the browser snapshot tool. So it looks like something has happened and page is loaded, and now it's asked me to confirm that it can use the browser take screenshot tool, which I've said, yes, please go ahead. And now it took a screenshot, and now it's basically analyzing what it's seen. So it can see everything it needs to see, it's telling us what it can see. So now I'm basically going to copy the link to the Euro USD chart and ask it to navigate to that chart. So as you can see on the left hand side there, you've got basically all the indices in the world, all the forex pairs, as well as all the commodities as well. So I think I just struggled to copy the link over. So poof, yeah, there's the link. And then I'm going to ask it to try to analyze the chart on this particular time frame. So right now I've asked it to do the 3-hour time frame, and we're going to go ahead and see what analysis it actually comes back with. So far this is quite impressive. Okay, so it's busy thinking. Cool. So now it's navigated to this to that URL, and as you can see on the left hand side, I'm just going to adjust the screen quickly. We can see that it's navigated to that particular URL, and now it's going to try to essentially toggle the time frame. So there we can see it toggle the time frame, and I'm not sure if you saw in its thinking that it did in like 4 seconds. It was already analyzing price and everything. And also I wasn't actually specific in terms of like what the output I want from my analysis to look like. So you can see it's now used the browser click tool as well. And now I've asked it to it's asking it to take a screenshot, or the agent is rather asking to take a screenshot of the site, and you can see it's basically getting the highs and lows. So cool, that was pretty quick. So we've got some technical analysis to look at, and it's given us some trading considerations and some risk factors. So poof, that was pretty quick. So it's giving us the market data as well. So if we check there, the current price is at 1.1478. Yeah. So I mean that's pretty impressive. And then it's actually its analysis is quite correct as well in terms of the short-term bearish bias, because as you can see over the past couple of days, Euro USD has been extremely bearish, and it's also highlighting key areas of support and resistance. And you can see that this model's been trained on trading to some degree, because there's things about like psychological levels and a whole bunch of other factors as well. And it's pointed out that it appears to be in a consolidation phase, and it's highlighting the potential breakouts. And it's also looking at the volume analysis, which I don't use. Like you had seen there, the model had also figured out that, look, it also recommended to me that I probably need to look at other considerations outside of just the chart as well. So now that we've taken it for a test drive in Cursor, we are going to use Chainlit. You view Chainlit as a custom tool that you can use to build custom chat applications, essentially, and incorporate MCPs and LLMs inside of it. So to do that, first let's just get a hello world running. And so we're going to use UV. So I'm just installing the UV virtual environment. And UV is basically a step up from pip. It almost just works out the box like npm. So I've installed Playwright, and not Playwright, Chainlit, and now I'm just going to run Chainlit hello. UV run Chainlit hello, and basically it's starting up a Chainlit application. So if I navigate to my localhost, poof, there's already like a chat interface for me already spun up. So as you'll see, and we go through the video, like Chainlit has a whole bunch of decorators and helpers for what happens when the user's typing on the message, or when the chat starts up, or when the chat terminates, and a whole bunch of things that you can tap into their API within the package to be able to create particular experiences. So essentially, you can embed this Chainlit UI inside your application. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is create an app.py file. So essentially, this app.py file is going to be like the hub of our application, as you'll see in just a bit. And then I'm also creating an env file. So in that env file, go ahead and paste your OpenAI key in there. So just make sure you've pasted that in. Cool. So now that we've got the So now what I've done here is essentially I've got the app.py file, but what I'm doing is I have a PRD markdown file around about over there, right? And inside that file, I've given it explicit instructions on how to structure my Chainlit application. I've given it code examples. And so basically I've added this, the prompt in there, so that the agent knows how to set things up. So it's not really guessing in terms of how to use Chainlit. Because the problem is, if you just tell an LLM, use this package or use that, one or two things might happen. It will choose the correct package, but it will go and do its own implementation on how to integrate the package into your application. Or two, it will hallucinate and make up a package or use the wrong package. So that's what this PRD chainlit.md file is essentially doing for us. If you read the blog post, there's a link to the PRD file as well, so that you can go through in your own time. But just to speed things up, I've created that for us. So essentially, I've just asked it to essentially make an MCP server using the Chainlit library. So we're going to let this bad boy run for a bit, okay? And then just essentially configure the application for us. And yeah, we'll just sit and wait at any moment now. So cool, yeah. So as you can see, I've already given it prior examples of how I want Chainlit to be used. So, and like particular methods like finding the MCP, executing the MCP tool, and all these various other event handlers that the Chainlit library allows you to use. And also, you'll see there in a moment, I've also told it that I want the chat history to be saved locally so that it can be used within the context of every message that the user sends to the LLM as well. So, yeah. And like you can see there's like a cl.message. That's like how Chainlit, that's one of Chainlit's methods to basically return back messages back to the user. So it's quite nifty and quite handy. So cool. We've got a functioning app.py file. It's asking me to. So you see the thing here that I didn't add in the PRD MD file is telling it that I'm actually using UV. So I don't need a requirements.txt. So while it's still continuing, I'm just going to go ahead and accept the changes. And once the changes are accepted, I'm just going to use UV to install the remaining packages. So boom, we've got a fully functioning MCP server now. So you can see there's a function for continuing the conversation. I'm appending the history and a whole lot of other things. Cool. So what we're going to do now is essentially I'm just going to change the system prompt. All right. Because that was just a made up prompt. So essentially here I'm just telling it that it's a helpful AI assistant that is a Forex trading expert across different pairs or financial instruments. So yeah, that's what we need. So just make sure you change that prompt up for you. And as you can see, so I'm going to install these libraries, and I'm also need to change the way the API key is referenced as well. So cool, yeah, I've just referenced it like that because for some reason when it's like in all caps, it just doesn't work. So what we can do right now is install the remaining libs that are outstanding. So that's a OpenAI, the MCP, and then .env. .env. Cool. So that's installed with UV rather. And cool. So now we should be able to run the app. So I've just run that particular command. The app is available on localhost. Everything starting up, and then poof, cool. So what we want to do is add the MCP. So that connector will pop up once you've added the correct decorators or methods from Chainlit rather, and essentially both make sure you're going to add the commands. And as you can see, they are all our tools and everything very similar to Cursor, essentially. So now I'm going to ask it the same thing to basically navigate to live charts and take a screenshot for us. So everything seems to be working quite smoothly at the moment. We've got live chart. Playwright has opened up live chart for us, and I'm not sure if you can see in the logs on the far right. You can see that it's executed the tool successfully. So in the far right, you can see that it's executed the tool successfully. We can see which version of ChatGPT it's running. So so it's used the browser navigate tool. And there seems to be an issue. So this is quite funny. So the LLM is struggling to actually execute the subsequent tool. So that's the tool that we're looking for now, is that it needs to at least run either the browser snapshot or the browser text screenshot tool, essentially. But the LLM is giving us like a very vague excuse as to why it can't execute that tool. So that is the thing about Chainlit when you're deving, is that you've got to be on your toes and have an intuition about like what is your use case and what is the MCP server meant to be doing next, and then you're going to have to write custom code to accommodate for that use case, right? So as we can see here, essentially what's happened here is that when I first initially gave Cursor the PRD file, I didn't specify that, look, on the tool use, when the tools come back, you need to know how to handle the different tools. So what I've done here is I've added another prompt to update this entire file, specifically that if the tool name is equals a specific name, right, please have a function that essentially handles how to resolve the data from that particular tool. So to give you an example, in this case, we're asking the agent to essentially let us to handle a specific tool case, and in this case it's the browser screenshot tool, and right now it doesn't know what to do when it gets to that tool, because we just have a generic handler that returns all the results no matter the tool. So we want to make Chainlit aware that there's a specific tool that it will need to use. So that's what I've just asked it in that prompt. So cool. We fired it up, and the prompt has changed the code. So we're going to try start again and ask it to navigate to that, navigate back to live charts. So yeah, like I had mentioned before, all we had to do here is essentially you have to know what the tools are. As you can see, these are the available tools from browser close all the way to browser wait 4. And what we want to do is, like I'd mentioned, you want to write custom code based on the tool and make sure Chainlit is able to handle the different use cases for the tools, essentially. Cool. So we can see it's thinking, it's run browser navigate again. And yeah, it always says that, there's a issue or network restrictions, but like I had mentioned, it's just being vague. So now I'm going to paste in, I'm going to ask it to navigate to that particular pair, like we did in the cursor demo. And we're going to ask it to take a screenshot. So cool. As we can see, it's navigated to the Euro USD page, and it's busy thinking. Poof! It's taken a screenshot for us. So that prompt has worked, because also Chainlit has a particular way of rendering media within Chainlit itself. So but for some reason that screenshot is not loading over there. So we still have the chat memory. So let's see if we can go one step above and ask it to tell us what's going on particular time frame at least, or just on the screenshots. Cool. So it seems that the screenshot was not saved in the path, but it's able to at least tell us what it's actually seeing. So this is a good sign. So the reason why I asked just to let me know what it can see is, before asking it to go do additional stuff, is essentially we just want to make sure that that Chainlit is able to take the screenshot and send it to the LLM. So now we're going to ask it to do analysis on the 1 hour time frame. Cool. So it's clicking about in the browser. We can see that. It's taken a snapshot again, but now it's complaining that nothing was found. It's run browser evaluate, and poof, we got a 400 error. We've run into a bit of a blocker now, so I just want to see, based on the current spec of that file, just tell me to give me analysis of what it's currently looking at without even going to like another time frame. Perfect. So currently it can't look at the image for some reason, but it gave me a whole bunch of gibberish in terms of, in trading speak, in terms of what to do next. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, but for the sake of this demo, I'm going to leave it there, because essentially all we need to do is just write some prompt cursor rather. All we would need to do now is essentially prompt cursor to basically solve this particular problem. So it's not that simple to vibe code. I mean, it is simple, but essentially there's still a couple of issues here with this application, in the sense of the images don't seem to be being stored into context. When you're doing advanced things like browser click, I suspect we need another function to handle that specific tool call, and then I suspect we should be able to pass that context in back to the LLM, so we don't get that 400 error. Okay, team. Yeah, so that wasn't as straightforward as I thought it was going to be. So essentially, you would need to continue prompting cursor to be able to solve that issue, right? So I hope this video helped you realize, like, if you are going to integrate MCP into Chainlit, that I think what would actually help beforehand is, like I had done in Cursor, looking at all the tool calls that Cursor actually made, and then being able to add that logic to your Chainlit application. But the issue there is that what I had asked Cursor to actually do is to essentially hard code the different tool calls. So Cursor are doing something a lot more dynamic, where you can obviously bring in any MCP and it's able to identify which tools it's able to run, and ask the agent to ask myself as the user whether I want to run that tool. So that's something I would recommend going forward if you are opting to use Chainlit. Chainlit looks super fantastic. You can customize it. You can integrate it almost literally anywhere. You can serve it off a fast API server as well. The only downside is that it's in Python, or that's a downside for me, because my strengths lie more on the TypeScript side of things. And to get this application running, I was completely vibe coding it all the way. So, nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, give us a like, drop us a comment, and you know what? I got a tiny favor to ask of you. Just hit the subscribe button. It's completely free, and also, best of all, you won't miss when I upload the next video. Anyway, I've been Tamo Moloko. You've been amazing, and I'll catch you lot in the next video.